Yes, the William Fáilte ar Róbal ag léir that we're here to celebrate a unique occasion, the retirement of Dr. Kevin Quinn. And Dr. Quinn has been here 38 years. He came initially for 2 years. He came to this tropical island. He was in Dublin and he seen this beautiful sunshine. And the first trip the ferry made to Arranmore and Mishnah, Dr. Quinn, you were on that trip. Yeah, he was in the very first time, so that's a landmark. But I suppose we take it for granted when we have a doctor on the island. And it's only when you see things starting to go, we're down to one shop now, different things starting to go, post office and out. Their resident nurse is not here any longer. And, you know, Kevin has served us for 38 years. I'm sure there's people in here today that would owe him his life, and I wouldn't be afraid to say that. And he's come out in the middle of the night, and he went through some trauma with different things that happened on the island down through the years. And he was there on call, and it's to have a doctor that you could have in 5 or 10 minutes when there's an emergency. That's something I suppose we look at as a community. He's there, but you know, on behalf of the community, Kevin, I'd like to just thank you for all you've done this last 38 years. And we have a very good replacement. We're lucky because in rural communities, as you know, it's nearly impossible to get a doctor to move, to want to be near a city or something. But we're honoured that we have a replacement on the island for Dr. Kevin Quinn. So I'd like to call on Victoria Bradley maybe to say a few words. She's very fond of speaking, she told me.
Can I sit?
Very cool.
Okay, so I'm very uncomfortable doing this, but anyway, over to you. So you all know from the point of view of the community what Kevin's done for you. I'll just talk about what it's like as another doctor. Kevin's been my mentor for probably 21 years. I don't know how you feel about that now, but you have been, and you still are. So when I started the training scheme 20 years ago, Kevin was there and was like one of the favoured directors in the scheme. Anyway, he was always great with me, always talked me down, sort of tried to get me to get perspective on things. But I was thinking about it that he's not just been mentor to me, he's been mentor to like maybe a few hundred doctors. I don't know how many over the decades. Any doctor I've ever spoken to about Kevin, without fail, has great fondness and respect for him. So that's about all I can say. Anyway, like, long and happy retirement to you.
Thanks, Victoria. And our next, we're going to talk. Nora Flanagan is going to say a few words. Nora was here in the health centre for many years, and she worked with Dr. Quinn down through the years. So maybe you'd have Nora up to say a few words.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. And so far, it's been like the Gettysburg Address here. People are only talking for about 1 minute. I have 2 minutes. Firstly, I would like to thank Marion for her very kind invitation to be part of this really special occasion to honour Dr. Kevin Quinn's 38 years of GP service on Arranmore. I've known Dr. Quinn since he and his family came to Arranmore. Not only has he been my family's GP, providing an excellent and caring service to us all over the years, but he makes a really good fudge cake as well. Which both my daughters can testify to, having been to many of Aoife's parties. Prior to the introduction of the now doc out of hours GP service, Kevin could be called out at any time of the day and night, and on the occasions that I had to call him out in the wee hours of the morning. He always provided treatment with the greatest care, attention to detail, and professionalism, and always with good humour. In my years working in the day centre, Kevin, you were always very supportive to me, the staff and the clients. And I could relate many stories of working with you, like during the campaign for the secondary school and many other times. But suffice to say that your professionalism and caring involvement in many aspects of the community life on Arranmore will always be remembered and very much appreciated. So Kevin, may I, on behalf of my family, wish you a long and happy retirement with your family. Thank you, Kevin, for 38 years serving the people of Arranmore. That was less than 2 minutes.
Well spoken. And we've just been joined, I think, by the oldest resident, maybe right in saying that, Bridget Ward just walked in there. So, Bridget, had a great effort to come out. Beautiful. Okay, we had a nurse that came here one time from Meath, like Dr. Quinns. She came thinking she was here for a holiday. She met somebody on the island, and I remember the day she came, she had an umbrella and there was only 3 spokes in it. Maybe Finola will come up and say a few words. She had a bicycle as well.
Well, Hugh always reminds me that when I came here, I didn't even have a bicycle. But I reached that high standard in. No. I'll be 67. When Kevin arrived here as a young GP 38 years ago, I really couldn't believe my luck. Kevin was a kind, reliable and professional colleague, and it was an absolute joy to work with him for 23 years. Now, nobody asked me how old I am. Thank you, Kevin, for your enormous contribution, not only to the island community, but also to me, both as a public health nurse and as a friend. Enjoy the University of Third Age.
Well done, Finola. And we were lucky enough for years after Finola retired that we got Susan McGarvey. I'm delighted to see her here today to celebrate. So maybe Susan could just say a few words. I'm putting a lot of people on the spot here today. Susan told me, don't forget to call me up to speak. So here she is.
This was very unexpected. Thank you, Marion, for the invitation to attend today, and it was nice to see so many familiar faces, and I've missed you all, and I'm enjoying my retirement. I came here in 2007, and a little bit like Kevin, I actually only came for 3 weeks and stayed for over 14 years, but and Finola was here on my first day and introduced me to Kevin, and I have to say since that day onwards we have had a really, really good, wonderful working relationship. He was a great colleague to work for, always very supportive, always very kind to me and always very professional, and always at the end of the phone, which was really the most important thing, you know, whenever there was no GP here. Kevin always never failed to answer the phone whenever I rang asking him stupid questions. And I never felt stupid, you know, and he always, you know, was a great mentor and a great colleague, and we really had a really good working relationship. And I would like to wish him all the best, long health, happiness, and a good retirement, and I hope he enjoys it as much as I am. And take care of yourself.
I think there's a few speakers. I'm not sure if there are anybody out in the hallway that was supposed to speak, but maybe we'd call on Maureen McCafferty, who's our current day supervisor. Maybe Maureen to say a few words. Again, she's fond of speaking. She loves the mic.
No, this was 30 seconds. On behalf of the staff and the clients of the day centre, we just want to wish you a long and happy retirement. We've enjoyed you coming in. I mean, you're not worst thing to look at on a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning, you know. He's a bit Tom Selleck, you know. We will miss you, but we're in good hands with Victoria, and we've got lovely other registrars that come in throughout the year. We've been very, very lucky. We know we'll see you round on your bike. Don't fall off. Wear your helmet. Nothing much to say apart from we want to see you back in September for a bit of a bite to eat and a presentation with the old folk of the day centre. Old folk, that's a cheek, sorry. With the lovely clients of the day centre. We've got something on order, but it's not quite here yet. We're a bit late. Never gave us much notice there, 8 years. So please join us back in September and many other days. We've got a seat for you. Where would you like to sit? Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. It's open all the time. Don't be a stranger. And
I don't play bingo.
oh, there's more than bingo these days. But if you can join us, we would love to see you, Marion, and the kids, and all the lovely wee grandkids, because they pop in quite regularly. With a lovely contribution to the centre. So don't be a stranger. Keep well. Take us to France if you need a wee. I'm available. But long retirement, good health, and thanks a million for everything. God bless.
Good morning. We have a few presentations to do. So the first one would be on behalf of the RNLI. So I'd ask maybe Jimmy Early maybe to come up and say a few words. And Jimmy's a fantastic speaker in front of us. Kevin, could you fix the knee for him before you go?
Yeah, I've got a letter here from John Payne. He's the Director of Life Saving Operations. Dr. Quinn, I would like to take this opportunity as you leave the RNLI as a volunteer to thank you for all the time and commitment and sheer hard work that you have put into the institution. As a charity, we completely depend on generosity of individuals, from RNLI volunteers to staff and donors. You have played an important role in the continuing success of the RNLI. I hope you will leave us with a richly deserved sense of pride in your achievements and recognition of the important contribution that you personally have made to the cause of saving lives at sea. Of course, an important part of this is support of your family and friends, and I would like to be grateful if you could pass on my sincere thanks and appreciation to them for supporting you in making such a sustained and telling commitment. Thank you so much for your contribution to the service. I know that all your colleagues in the RNLI will join me in wishing you a very success and happiness in the future. There's a long service medal coming. We haven't got it yet. He had to retire for us to apply for it. So it'll be coming shortly, so we'll get it to you along with the certificates. That's Dr. Kevin Quinn. So thank you. I'll give you this back.
Well done, Jimmy. On behalf of the ambulance service, again, very important that we have it and we take it for granted, but we can have somebody maybe that takes sick and the ambulance calls and then the helicopter or Letterkenny within half an hour. So I'd ask John McCafferty maybe to come forward on behalf of the ambulance service just to maybe say a few words. Put on a wee bit of weight, John.
Nobody from the ambulance service, I'm afraid, could be here today, Kevin, in person. Just as crew, past and present, we just want to thank you for all the support you've given us for keeping the service in Arran, which we know is vitally important. Us knowing that you're there behind us, it provides us that backup and that support, which we're so grateful for. So from all of us, a long, happy and enjoyable retirement. Thank you, John.
Okay. I would like to call on Anna Gallagher on behalf of the community in Adlaya. Bruntanasi Anu to heaven. The Shavita Suena, you're very quiet. You going to sing?
No. I think you don't either.
Anybody want me to sing? Kevin, look what I done for you this morning. I got up at 7 o'clock. Got up on Facebook, let's have evidence there today.
Kevin, just on behalf of the local community centre here, we would just like to present you with this and to thank you for your many years of service and to wish you very good health on your retirement. Garamila Maiga.
Okay, good morning, Anna. Thank you. There's some more people on the list, but I don't think they're here, and I hope I don't leave. Father Boyce? No. Father John Joe? Make sure, Johnny Duffy, Manus Early. They're just names, and I just want to acknowledge, I'm not sure is Leanne here, is she? But just to acknowledge Leanne, that's our nurse at the moment, and it's great that we have her and Dr. Bradley here with us in the island. I suppose the last few words, and he said, don't forget to call me up for a few words, he said. We leave it to the man at the moment when we're all here, Dr. Kevin Quinn.
Thank you, Hugh. This is very hard. Much harder than the day job. When we came to Arranmore on the 23rd of July, 1984, which would have been 38 years yesterday, little did I think I would be here 38 years later. I had given a commitment to the health board that I would stay for at least 6 months, but probably 2 years. And they said, oh, well, we'll see how it goes. But here I am, 38 years later. Now, how did that happen? It happened for a lot of personal reasons. When we came here, Aoife was a wee tot, about a little bit smaller than this fellow here. And in 1985, at the end of the year, we were blessed with twins. And the next 5 years, I don't remember. So that was the 5-year plan. Then the children went to school, and they were heading towards secondary school, and Aoife was in the last few classes of primary school. And as you said, I had campaigned for a secondary school because I didn't want my children going away to school. I don't think that kids have to be forced out of their homes to go to get schooling. So I was heavily involved in that, and I said, well, if there's no secondary school, we're going to leave. And lo and behold, Aoife was the first pupil in the secondary school. So that's the next 5-year plan. Things evolved. When I joined the practice in 1984, the practice was me and Finola, and I was incredibly lucky to be working with one of the most dedicated professionals you could ever meet. When we arrived, we were still over in the old dispensary. If anyone remembers it, it was like a fallen down shed that just opposite Nellie's. And it had all the equipment, and etc. So sure enough, Grace Breslin, who was the administrator at the time, was very slow in getting things organized. So myself and Finola just got everything together. We wheeled everything down from the old centre into the new health centre where we are today. She didn't know. We had the keys. We changed the phones. But a month later, she rang and says, we've decided you can move down to the health centre. I said, oh, really? We'll have official opening in about 6 months, but that was the way it was. But it was lines away, so we thought we'd move in very quickly. So you see why I stay here, really. It's all about women. Finola, as a colleague, was excellent. And as I say, she made my life bearable as a single GP on an island. Susan, her replacement, was like Finola on speed. So here I was, having another great colleague to work with. And it's been a pleasure to work with both of them. And now I just hope Leanne will stay with the team over the years. Other women in my life, I would have to say the first secretary that I had was in 2005. So the first 20 years I actually worked solo by myself in and out, calling people in, no appointments. It was fun. You didn't know what the day was going to bring. There could be 10 people, there could be 20, there could be everyone on the island coming. So it was quite bizarre. And now people roll up their appointment at 10 o'clock and usually get seen 10 the latest. Well, in my time they did anyway. But appointment systems were nothing to be seen in those days. So my first secretary was Louise, and Louise Ward left a job in the hospital to come and work here, and that brought Louise and Seamus back to the island, and there's a bonus. And so that was the first year, and then the following year, Bridget Christina O'Donnell, I'll give her the full title, worked for a year for me to fill in while Louise went off and had a baby. And then Kira came for 6 months or 7 months before one of the best secretaries you could ever possibly have arrived on my door. So I just don't know how lucky I have been when Margaret came to work for the practice. She's been there now since 2007, I think. And she keeps the place going. So thank you so much, Margaret. And then in latter years, another woman entered my life, Victoria, although I've known Victoria for well over 20 years, as she says, from training, and she's been coming in and out of Arran for over 10 years now, and in the last 5 years, she became my full-time partner, and to ease her into the new life that she's going to experience. The one woman, I suppose, the most important woman in my life has been Marion. And believe it or not, Marion is the reason why I really am here. And because she just loves the place, and she's settled here and made it her home, as you know. So that's the important thing, to recognise that in any successful man or any successful project, there's lots of women. All the other staff that I've worked alongside as well. When I came here, Margaret Sweeney, God rest her, was the daycare centre supervisor. Such a lovely person, passed prematurely young. Then Nora for many, many years. We worked very well together. And now, my darling Maureen. So we're very, very fortunate in having people who are committed to the community working. The people that are available for emergency are just amazing. Over the years, all the ambulance crews, let me see who worked there. There was Frankie Bona and John worked, and Anthony, and currently John McCafferty, of course, who is an absolute great guy in emergency. He's just so cool-headed. I know. John is a very cool head. And of course, the crew themselves, the RNLI crew, have been fantastic over the years, and they've always supported the community in any kind of evacuation, and the terrible things that we've had to experience over the years, and shared as a community. It's very difficult as a doctor to go home at night after something like that happens, but I have been fortunate in having my family here, and that's what's helped me get through it. Look, I wish everyone all the best. You're getting a great doctor in Victoria Bradley, as you know. She's been here for over 5 years now, and I will be in the background occasionally trying to give support. 5 minutes anyway. And I wish her all the best. I can only say that I have really enjoyed living in a small community, and it's difficult. I mean, you all know how difficult it is to survive in a place like this, and everyone is very, very resilient in doing so. And keep it up. There's some great carers in the community who look after the elderly. I mean, here, how many people do we have in nursing homes? Very, very few. The people that care for people at home, it never ceases to amaze me how wonderful the care that is given. and with the support of the nursing community, etc. It's grand. So I wish the current team, Aoife as practice nurse, Victoria as GP, Leanne as public health nurse, and I hope Margaret keeps going forever. and you'll all be fine. I'd just like to say thank you to the community for being supportive of me in a role. And it's been a great honour and privilege to be a GP on the rock, as my colleagues called it. They all said to me when I came here first, they said, you know, you don't have to stay there too long. You only get 10 years for life. So here I am, 38 years long. I could have committed 3 or 4 murders. So good luck to everyone and take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Very well spoken, Phil. Now, I was listening to his speech and he said one few lines in that speech. He said, I'm here to help. So if anybody has any issues during the night, and Dr. Quinn is here in the island to help you out. So remember what he said in the speech. So he said that I'm here to help. So anyway, we were blessed to have him for 38 years, and I mean that. And on behalf of myself and the family and the whole community, maybe we'll give Kevin Stan a round of applause. Well-deserved round of applause. So Mila Maya with Kevin for 38 years. For he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. Hip hip. Hip hip. But a million wide. Thank everyone for coming out. Really appreciate the huge turnout. And again, thanks, Kevin. The beautiful cake here and everything, and my funds is there as well. So make sure you enjoy them. Okay, got my hiccup. Thanks for everyone for coming out. Okay, Kevin, thanks a million. I knew I would sing. John McCafferty said I wouldn't be singing today.
Well, thank you.
There's still anybody, Sheila forced to stand there at the tea, so anybody wants a cup of tea and a scone, before you go, you're welcome to go down there and get a cup. Okay, got a million Irish chicken. Thank you.